It's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. So Comic Food 2814, how does a person reveal Superman's secret identity?
I don't know.
You can't. It's the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube. It's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. A wonderful way to wrap up your weekend. I'm Magic Lasso Ryan. So happy that you're here. Comic Food 2814 is joining me right now. How are you?
I'm good. You get me every time.
Some people hate those, absolutely hate those in my videos. And then I have the others that say it makes their day. And if I didn't do it, they would be disappointed.
Yeah,
so
I'm somewhere right in between, I guess. Like, I'd be disappointed, but yeah, oh, it hurts.
The moral of the story is I cater to those who say nicer things to me.
There you go.
So
it's a good attitude
great to have you here. How was your week?
It was good. Yeah.
Good. We're expecting another fanboy in just a moment. In the meantime, we're going to check out our chat to see who is joining us live. First of all, if you're joining us on the rewind, we certainly do appreciate you spending your time on Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Last time that I hosted the show, man, we had some really good numbers in the rewatch section too. And I'm being serious here. I mean, it was like 140 views. So that was awesome to get. And we got those like within, a day and a half. So that's awesome that you're watching on the rewind. Hello to the Great Legend Show, who says, I don't know if I'll be able to catch you live, but I'm reading Infinite Crisis for the first time and loving it. I see some love to Crisis on your thumbnail. Yes, there is a little bit of Crisis love in the thumbnail tonight.
In fact, we reviewed Infinite Crisis, it was probably about a year ago now on the Fanboys.
Yeah, I have no recollection of that.
It was, I believe, our missing co-host's pick, Tony.
Oh, that very well could be. Let's say hello to Unruly Simeon. How you doing? How's Loki doing? Thanks for checking in today. We have Mallow Cups. Jean Mallow. Yes, with the Space Ghost going from coast to coast. Good to have you checking in. Paul S. is here, who's looking forward to another great episode. Fingers crossed that we deliver. Who knows? Right now, it's kind of up in the air.
Hey, we're one host down. Actually, two. What am I saying?
Yeah, we're several hosts down, but 'tis what it is. Okay, and we'll acknowledge other folks as they pop in the chat, just like we're doing right now with Super Russ 9000. Hey, Russ, how you doing? Hope you're doing awesome and had a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by here.
Yeah, we actually, I forgot to mention, we had a really great start to the weekend, Friday evening, with our comic book auction that we had with Squatchy Comics and Doghouse. We had on Friday, and all of that was, of course, in support of, I don't know if you saw, but Doghouse, his whole basement flooded, and it took out a whole section of his comics. All like the walls, I mean, everything. I think he lost a washer and dryer. And so it was really great, though. The community came together and was able to help him out there. So,
oh man, I didn't know that. I would have chipped in. But I tell you what, I'd rather lose my washer and dryer than my books.
Yeah. Easier to replace.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
I didn't get to catch, the full auction. I just popped in the end and then demanded instant gratification of being acknowledged.
Yes, I remember. It was like we were just ready to sign off, and you're like, "Why aren't you saying hello to me?" And I was like,
"Oh." I'm like, "Does this foo not acknowledge the chat anymore?" Hello to Bronze Age Brian. Hope you're doing great. And we'll officially welcome other fanboy, Tony Fett. How you doing, Tony?
Another beautiful comic book Sunday.
Awesome. Great to have you here.
Good to be back.
Glad to see you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
We smile like there's an inside joke or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if anybody has a copy of Chew #1, it needs to be A-OK to Tony Fett. That's all I'm saying.
And I was chatting with my parents. I'm heading out to Iowa here soon, and boy, let the baby food jokes begin. Boy, they let me have it. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. It was funny.
Good stuff.
So in DC Comics news, let's touch on something that we missed last week. And by the way, Paul, I know I sound a little bit muffled. It might be the fact that I'm kind of in an empty room, essentially. So it'd be like doing it,
I think it's the echo effect as well.
I think it is too. I think, I'll work on getting that fixed.
But you look good in HD.
I do.
There's a mass improvement, versus your setup now versus phone.
The connection is very good.
Yeah.
So,
they don't got to put cheese in the router where he was at.
I don't know if that's good or not. Some people might. I was kind of going, "Eek, that's really what I look like." But okay.
Gets an HD, starts losing subscribers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll never get to that 1,000 now. But a piece of news that we didn't cover last week, it was just there was so much going on with SDCC coverage, but it deserves to get acknowledged. So I want to make sure that we hit it from the very beginning. Amanda Waller is going to be seen again in the DCEU.
Yep.
It's exciting for me, a big Suicide Squad fan, comics, and you know what, I'll be that guy. I like both movies, I really do. Mm-hmm. I think Viola Davis is, she is to me Amanda Waller. Nobody else can play her anymore. Like, home run. Whoever casted that, who made that cast was absolutely brilliant and needs a promotion. So that's very exciting. And from what I understand, it is not going to be a cameo. She plays a big role in this movie.
Awesome. Now, is this Shazam or Black Adam?
Black Adam.
Black Adam. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Which that's a great segue. Speaking of Shazam, I guess there has been no communication on how to cross over these two franchises at this time. So if they don't do that, that'll be one of the biggest DC mistakes of all time. In terms of movies, can you imagine the Batman and the Joker getting their very first movie solo? And it's like, of course, the fans are gonna be like, yeah, put them together. And it never happens. Like, it would just be completely stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the news has been pretty confusing. I mean, Tony and I have even had a little back and forth, friendly back and forth on the Fanboys chat. Because like I can find an article that says like Jim Lee saying at SDCC, like Snyderverse is done. Tony can find another article that says, hey, Batfleck is back in Aquaman 2. And there's a lot of, I don't know, is it miscommunication or just, I don't know. It's kind of strange. Like, what exactly is going to happen? Is Henry Cavill coming back or not? Is Ben Affleck going to remain as Batman, or is it just like a cameo, as I kind of suspect, but I don't know. It's interesting because if you remember this time last year or earlier, when Michael Keaton was confirmed to come back as the Flash, and he was going to move forward, he was going to be Batman or something. I guess that's done. Like, he's in the Flash movie. That's it. He's done as Batman. So I suspect Michael Keaton is just coming back for some kind of cameo, maybe a little bit more than a cameo, but not really like a major role. And then, he's done. So kind of like the latest Spider-Man movie. They brought the old Spider-Man back. Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. And then they were saying like Batfleck is done. This is his final appearance as Batman. They're going to kill him or somehow, but nope, clearly not. So which is exciting. I admit I was anti Ben Affleck as Batman, but he shut me up. I thought he did a tremendous job.
I liked him.
Yeah. He wasn't bad.
There was worse choices they could have done for Batman, believe me.
Yeah.
They could have cast Ezra Miller as Batman.
Oh, goodness. He'd be a great Joker.
I agree. He should play the Joker. He should play the Joker. He has experience. But I saw a tweet from who was it? Rob Liefeld, who's huge in the comic book industry. He tweeted out and brought up a good point. Like, Jim Lee is in no way affiliated with the movies at DC Comics. Like, he has no say. He's not a consult. Like, he just does comics. So was a little confused why Jim Lee was saying the things he was saying. And to maybe he knows something that maybe Jim Lee knows something that nobody else does, or who knows.
So going back to our private argument then, so the thread that you're holding on to is Rob Liefeld. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, the guy who can't draw feet. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I truly believe that Henry Cavill will come back as Superman in some way. Maybe not necessarily Man of 2 sequel, but he's going to show up somewhere. I guarantee it.
Well, he's going to be in Black Adam, you said, right?
Yeah, that's the word on the street is end credits is Superman, Black Adam, or somehow they're
end credits.
End credits, yeah.
Oh, that's a little different.
Right. Yeah, that it might set up that confrontation. Like someone said that the speculation is, Henry Cavill's watching this news broadcast and it's Black Adam, tearing something up, and he flies off.
Dude, can you imagine Superman and Shazam versus Black Adam on
live action? Dude, that's what we want.
I know. That would be so good.
What we want, DC. Like
that would be so good.
You have the cast, you have the inspiration from the animated movie. Like, come on. Yep. Come on. Like, just why can't we do it?
To the wall with it and that'd be great.
I tell you what, though, I'd hate to be a CGI artist in that movie.
Yeah, but did you see the end of the latest season of The Boys?
No.
It was like, I'm watching it. I'm like, this is exactly what I want from a Superman movie, just a brawler, just knockout fight. Mm-hmm. Dude, it would be so good. It would be so good.
Yeah.
That would win me back, honestly.
It would. There's no way that would be a negative for DC. That's all in. That'll put butts in seats in every movie theater across the planet. Henry Cavill, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, Zachary Levi isn't quite that caliber of an actor, but people still want to see Shazams.
I'd be there for it.
It would be amazing. Yeah. It would be amazing. I'd be pre-ordering tickets. I'd go see it in IMAX. It would just be amazing.
With a barrel chest, you can't see the feet anyway.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture. Captain America's chest is way out here. Yeah. Hey man, he's better than me. There's a reason he's drawing comics and not me.
All right, Unruly's with us.
Levi looks great in the suit. He does. When they were casting Zachary Levi as Shazam, I thought for sure they were going to give it to John Cena. Because they were talking to John Cena about a project, and he's kind of goofy, you know what I mean? And he's ripped, he wouldn't need to work out that much.
Nearly as well.
But it's okay. He's Peacemaker, and he does a great job at Peacemaker, so it all worked out in the end.
Throw your dog an invisible bone.
Yes. Oh, speaking of, I'm going to go backtrack a little bit. Amanda Waller is confirmed to get her own HBO Max series.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe that'll be a really cool.
So I imagine that might delve in more with her relationship with her now established daughter.
Probably, or maybe we'll get a live action, Suicide Squad. That every season the cast would change. You know what I mean? Different heroes. Oh, yeah. That would be really cool. Yeah, that would be really cool. I'd be all for it.
What else is going on in DC news?
Oh man, I feel like it was a heavy DC news day. I did have an article. Let me pull that up here. Look at me being not prepared. All right, it is a day that ends in Y. Oh, let's see. Where did it go? The animated Green Lantern one that just came out. What is it? I forget what it's called.
First Flight?
Was it First Flight? The most recent one with Jon Stewart.
Yeah, First Flight's an older one.
Okay, First Flight's the older one. There's a new one then that just dropped.
Beware My Power.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it has its main focus is Jon Stewart. The movie's got a little bit of controversy, and it bugs me as a Green Lantern fan. It probably bugs the heck out of Fu here. They changed the Sinestro logo hardcore.
Wow.
Big time. It's just a yellow Green Lantern logo.
What?
Yeah. And there's
That's so dumb.
Right. Why would you do that?
That is so gonna play back into our retro review come later.
Yeah, and there's a reason. For those of you who are watching
So
Ethan Van
dumb.
Sciver's stream, he said that they did it because he helped with the design of the Yellow Lantern, so they switched it and no longer have to pay him royalties from the movie. If that's true, let's pretend that's confirmed 100% fact. Like,
dumb.
That is stupid from a fan point level. Like, why would you? That's established. Why would you do that? And just to spite someone, just because you don't like them. Oh man, we're gonna redesign this just so we don't have to pay you royalties. What a great way to show respect to your talent that helped develop these characters. And show them like something like the Yellow Lantern symbol. It's small, I can't imagine royalties on that are huge, but like, why would you do that?
Right?
Like, why would you poop on your talent, regardless if you like them or not? Like, why would you do that?
So I guess my Yellow Lantern over there.
It's
is
now
no
a super
valid,
collectible, probably.
Right? No, it's super collectible. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to lock down a photo of it, but the Sinestro symbol is just a yellow Green Lantern symbol. It's really stupid.
Oh, this is falling in so great into later tonight.
I have not seen it. I'm probably gonna wait until it hits HBO Max to see it. I like the Green Lantern. I'm gonna watch it anyway, but
it's a riot.
If that's true, shame on you, DC. If not, then please explain as to why it's different than what it's used to. Can you imagine they redesigned the Wonder Woman logo just so they don't have to pay royalties to somebody? Like why would you do that?
Actually, they did, because if you remember, her original logo was an eagle, and that went from the 40s.
Yeah, like a Wonder Woman
80s.
with an eagle and the two W's or whatever.
Yeah, but you can't copyright an eagle, and they needed a symbol that they could copyright as theirs. So that's the real reason why it went to the double W.
Well, that's still relatively close to the original.
It's a pretty similar thing, but actually, in Wild Wonder Woman costumes ties into my book show tonight. So
yeah, and that the Wonder Woman logo, that makes sense. They tried to keep it as close as they could. With this one, they just flat out changed it for literally no reason. But yeah, if you get a chance, check it out. It'll make you say, why did you do that? And it makes absolutely no sense. Batman Legion of Superheroes is getting an animated show, which is cool if you're into that. New Black Adam trailer dropped. If you guys haven't seen that, I definitely recommend it. It's very cool. I think that's it for the big ones, at least in the movieverse.
To answer Paul's question, it was DC Comics Presents number 41. It was an insert story. The actual issue is Superman and Joker, but then there's like a, 8 or 9 page insert in the middle, kind of like they did when they introduced Teen Titans, when they were doing that. That's the issue that the insignia changes, because there was a new creative team coming on board too. So they were, with Gene Colan, they were trying to really launch that.
Interesting.
So has anyone seen the new Super Pets movie?
No.
I haven't either, but I've heard good things of it. I've heard that it's just fun.
All right. Is what's his name? Diz or whatever, the squirrel Green Lantern in it? Well, because he's in the magazine size Super Pets magazine format that came out recently.
Okay, I got this picture up here. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay. Yeah. Let's see. Where is it? Share screen. Oh, let's go with this one. I'm going to move my StreamYard over here. It is this guy. I don't know how well it is. Yeah, that's so the dumb. New Yellow Lantern symbol. It is so stupid. It is so stupid. Isn't that like,
Wow.
as a Green Lantern fan,
It's just dumb.
Fu, you're a Green Lantern aficionado.
It's dumb.
Like, is it?
Are they gonna redo all the other ones too? Like,
Nope. I mean, it's essentially a Green Lantern symbol, just yellow.
yeah.
I think it's unwarranted, unnecessary, and does it really
Well,
matter?
And honestly, I don't know that you'd have Sinestro versus John Stewart. They're not. I mean, it's usually Sinestro and Hal Jordan. I mean, John Stewart, you could do all kinds of other things with. Why would you bring Sinestro into it? It's so repetitive. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's more Yellow Lanterns in this show, from what I understand. Yeah, you can see some of the background.
I just think that's a weird choice.
I think it is an absolutely weird choice. So who knows? The conspiracy theory, if those of you who just joined us, is they changed it just to snub Ethan Van Sciver out of royalties. We don't know if that's true. That's just word on the street. I just don't care for the change. It's stupid, regardless of why they did it.
There are a lot of DC animated movies where costumes have been changed.
Yes, you're right. But I mean, it's something as established as this. I mean, like, why would you even take the time to do that?
Yeah,
Someone had to sit down and do it. You know what I mean?
I'm almost more upset that they chose Sinestro for this. Like, really? Like, they could have done so much more with John Stewart. Why bring Sinestro in? It doesn't make sense.
You're right.
Again, he's a Hal Jordan adversary. They've got a lot of personal connection there that John Stewart and Sinestro don't have. It feels very artificial.
It does. You're right. From the Green Lantern, stories I, read in my life, and animated movies, they don't have a whole lot of interaction at all.
They could take John Stewart and go, like, if they want to bring another Lantern Corps, I think, like, bring in like the Star Sapphire, and he's got a lot of history there. His whole event where he took out that planet and all, and that had a big effect on him. And they could dive into all kinds of that stuff.
Yeah.
Much better than Yellow Lanterns versus John Stewart. I mean, all I know is what you just showed, but it just doesn't make sense, at first glance to me.
Yep. I haven't seen the movie either, so I'm presenting the conspiracy. Who knows? Maybe in the movie it does something else, but we're just addressing the rumor here, which I hope isn't true. Warlord, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, James? Hope you had
I think that's all the news that
I.
I had. If you guys had anything else.
No, I don't. You know what? The only other thing that I have, I think that it was discussed a few months ago that these Superpowers retro action figures are coming back in 2022. Remember us talking about that?
I've seen they're even selling custom capes on Instagram.
Well,
really?
The figures are actually showing up in stores now. Florida Walmart has a huge display of Wave 1. So start looking for them soon because they are out in the wild now.
I was just at my Walmart today looking for the Parallax Multiverse from McFarlane. They didn't have it, but oh man, definitely I'm going to be checking it out now.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Ben Compton's here. Hi, Ben.
Benjamin.
You're doing well, and hope you
had
Ben.
I've been trying to find
Tony the conspiracy theory.
Next show I'll wear a tinfoil hat. But yeah, that's all I got for news. I still have yet to see at any Walmart near me the new DC comic packs. I still see a lot of the old ones, including the ones with the mask in them.
I still see some of the ones with the mask, but there's been 2 waves since then.
I haven't seen anything new.
Well, hey, let's get back to Tony conspiracies and move us on into the retro review segment of this show. And Tony, what are you doing to us? You gave these are the instructions Tony gave us for tonight. So first off, this is really funny. Tony, you don't even know this part.
Okay.
Lasso and I, sorry, Lasso. It was mainly me. Okay. It was mainly me. But in messages to Lasso, I said, you know what? we need to stick it to Tony this week. We need to make Tony pick the story. So I go out and I say, we agree, right?
I think your actual words were "make him choke on it."
Yeah. So I
How
go
appropriate.
into the Fanboys chat. I just got that. So I go into the Fanboys chat and I say, Tony, you got to pick the story this week. Tony comes back right away and says, yeah, no problem. Okay, this is what we're going to do this week. You're each going to choose your own story. It wasn't until like a day later I messaged Lasso. I said, wait a minute. Hold on. Tony just got the better of us again. He's still making us choose. What is that about? But here's the instructions he gave us. It's got to be a multiverse story. But then he said, anything that is not canon counts.
Yeah.
Is it multiverse or is it not canon? Because Lasso and I interpreted it differently.
Yeah, that's my fault. I guess I should have made that a little bit more clear. But one thing I don't think we do enough on the show is address the DC multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I should have made that more clear. Any multiverse that has any story that has anything to do with the multiverse,
but that's canon.
Fair game.
It is canon.
It is. I guess those are two contradictory terms. You're right, multiverse and canon. So my bad.
Tony, I've got a story I want you to read sometime. It's called Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
All right. Well, my choices this week will make no sense as a result. But
it's all comics. Who cares? We have a great time on the show. We could read My Little Ponies. We'd have fun.
We could be bronies.
Yeah, Tim would have more fun than anybody. But well, if you're not here, you can't defend
You're not
yourself.
supposed to share that.
Oh, that's right. He told me that in confidence.
So what story are we starting with?
I can go first. Not a problem.
He's not looking.
I'm not I will never ever review that story.
That's what you
not canon.
That's true. And it's technically
canon.
In a different universe, so I mean it ticks both of them.
As soon as you said it, I was like, all right, BA12.
Never in my lifetime. Okay, let me open up here. Let me get
I'll say hello to I Collect a Lot, who's just joined us as we segue into our first retro review tonight. Good to see you.
Yes, welcome. Let me load this up here. Come on.
You want me to share yours?
I got it.
Okay.
It's coming. It was just going slow. Okay, so my StreamYard disappeared. Here it is. Share screen. Boom. So I chose the Convergence, Nightwing and Oracle. The reason I like Convergence got a lot of flack. You could tell when this came out, DC was in the midst of moving their headquarters from New York to Los Angeles and all the logistics that have to happen in order to make that smooth transition. You can tell they just wanted to put something on the shelf, really. None of these particular stories are super awesome. They're all really short, but they did manage to pull together some great artists, like this right here. This is a great cover, in my opinion. Hawkman and Nightwing kind of fighting as Oracle watches. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with Convergence, they would pick two universes, two different worlds, two different cities, and you'd have to fight. One of the more popular ones was like Gaslight Batman universe versus the Flashpoint universe, New York City versus Follywood, California, Captain Carrot, which was pretty cool. But this particular story kicks off in El Inferno, and this is a rogue Hawkman and Hawkwoman a universe, and technically they're doing good, but they're just straight up just like killing bad guys, which is pretty interesting. And they just had to deal with the Justice League Raiders, so there's a good shot of both of them showing absolutely no mercy. And I wish there was more information on this world. I think this would be a pretty interesting story with these two characters. Birds of Rage, Gail Simone writing, and one of my favorite persons, Sean Parsons, did the artwork. But they're just going around decimating things. And previous encounter, they beat Brainiac, so they have access to Brainiac tech and all the knowledge that is contained within Brainiac. So they decided, you know what, we need to spread our justice everywhere. Everywhere. And the Brainiac bots know about the multiverse. They know how to travel between the worlds. And that's news to the Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And they're like, take us, like, let's do this. Let's go fight. So now we go back to Gotham City. And I forget which world this is. It'll come to me. I think they mention it here. But it's Gotham City. There is no Batman. It's just Nightwing and Oracle. They're coming back off a mission of, beating up Mr. Freeze, doing his thing and trying to grab some tech. Starfire is a love interest for Nightwing, but they don't get too close because he is in a romantic relationship with Oracle. And the second issue addresses that a little bit better, but we'll get to that another day. So there's trouble afoot. They talk about their encounter with Ivy. Dick Grayson proposes to Oracle. Then they see the Hawkman and Hawkwoman come to open some kind of portal, like a boom tube, and they say, "Hey, we want to make things clear. We're here to just kick some butt and just kill some bad guys." And Dick Grayson's like, not gonna happen. They take Oracle hostage. Nightwing gets pretty bad. And keep in mind, this story, whoever loses, that Earth dies, so to speak. Not really, but doesn't get to exist anymore, which is a unique concept. So they decide, well, we don't really need your help. We're just gonna go around and disperse justice any way we can. And they have access to these Brainiac bots. They give a command, just to go out and just, find a criminal and just end it. You know what I mean? And Oracle has to hack into these bots, so to speak, and try to change your programming. And that's the end of this particular issue. Right here we have, if they could go into a little bit more in depth of these characters and a brief origin story. There you see Killing Joke right there, and a quick preview. So that was Convergence, Nightwing and Oracle, issue number 1.
Awesome. I want to say hello to Jason, Southern Comic Geek, who has joined. I hope you're having a good weekend. Okay, Fu, do you want to do the next story, or do you want me to go?
I am happy to. So as much as Tony would like me to review Batman Adventures 12, I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to be reviewing, give me a second here, Green Lantern, the animated series. So
I didn't realize that was a book. Cool.
Absolutely. And this
0.
was, I think there was issue 0 through 12. This was obviously an animated show that was on Cartoon Network back around the time the movie came out. I don't remember exactly the year. January 12th. There you go, 2012. It
was a good animated show, by the way. It was very good.
It was phenomenal. This was
very much enjoyed
such a great show. I've rewatched it several times. It is so good. And the show actually introduces some new characters who I think is important to note are actually in these first 2 comics. So I've got Green Lantern animated series number 0, which is going to be the first appearance of Aya. And then number 1 is going to be the first appearance of Razor. So
Razor, that's right.
Again, not canon, but very beloved characters from the television show. And this would be their first appearances in comics. And I mean, man, if they ever brought either of those characters into canon, I think we're suddenly in a situation like Harley, where we've got an animated series where a character's first appeared in, maybe non-canon, but then when they come into canon, people will be after that original first. So
they have an opportunity coming up here at the TV show if it ever decides to get off the ground.
And these books are probably cover price right now too. So you know, yeah,
interesting.
But all right, so let's get into the story here. Yeah. So we start off here. It's a quick little recap because, again, this is more oriented towards children. So I'm not going to get super into it. It's the recap of what a Green Lantern is. Basically, we've got Hal Jordan and Kilowog out in space, and they have detected a ring just kind of floating out in space, which is odd because they've got, Green Lantern rings usually just hone in on their next, ring bearer. And this one is not. And this is where it's kind of funny. Your story earlier, Tony, is as Hal takes a look at it a little more closely, he's like, well, it's glowing green, but the symbol is not a Green Lantern symbol. And that's when suddenly the Red Lanterns appear. And man, this totally brought me back to watching the show because the Red Lanterns were a big part of it, and they're so much fun. They outnumber Hal Jordan and Kilowog. It was obviously a setup. They are attacking him, and these two are basically fighting for their lives. And the dialogue back and forth is they know it. They know that they cannot win this, but they're not giving up, right? Because that's what Green Lanterns do. You can see Kilowog being absolutely outnumbered, still fighting back. As they come at them, they realize they got to get out of there, and they call in their spaceship, which is different than normal canon Green Lantern. There's no spaceships, but in the animated show there was, and the artificial intelligence on it was named Aya. And so we're going to get her first appearance, at least in text. I'm not sure offhand which issue would be her first appearance in actual person, because she does eventually take a holographic form, I guess. But we definitely hear her speaking through the ship. They call the ship in. Hal gets on the ship, and that's when he realizes Kilowog was captured and did not make it onto the ship. So Hal and Aya argue back and forth as to the odds of what to do. And ultimately, though, Hal is determined. He's got to figure out where the Red Lanterns took Kilowog to. He ultimately detects some energy source, goes down, and finds also that the way that the Red Lantern ring was able to glow green was this box. It's this quantum refractor box that can bend the colors, basically. So that's going to become important later. So he's got this quantum refractor. He finds the planet Kilowog is on, and the Red Lanterns are torturing him. And basically they are set. You can see here the blade. They are ready to cut off his arm in order to get a hold of his Green Lantern ring, because as long as the ring is on his hand, there is no way to get that off. So Hal stumbles upon this. He comes up with a plan, and he discussing with Aya, he determines that, hey, this quantum refractor can also make things invisible. So he gets the idea to go ahead and make Kilowog invisible. At the same time, in true Hal Jordan style, he brings in some F-14s, it looks like, maybe an F-16, I'm not sure. And I know Tony's like cringing right now, but
typical Hal. You're right.
Right, yeah. They come in and scare off the Red Lanterns, gives Kilowog a chance to escape. They are like, all right, we're not sticking around here any longer. They get back to the ship, and that's when Hal's like, yeah, so I made you invisible. And Kilowog's like, oh, I was invisible? Kilowog basically thought he was like fighting his way out, not realizing.
What a loser.
Yeah, right? So as the last thing before they leave, they destroy the quantum refractor so that the Red Lanterns can't make use of it, as you can see here. and they fly off. Where was this? Oh, I'm sorry. No. They were smashing the ring, I think, or they got the refractor, and that's when Aya mentioned that, hey, there's another energy source coming from within, and that's where they found there was this being in there that feeds off of, like, it's like a plankton feeder that like feeds off of quantum energy, and they had locked it inside of this box in order to make use of its powers, basically. So they free the thing, of course, and that's the end. Now, since this was such a short story, I figured I'd review issue number 1 as well. So if you give me a moment, it's pretty quick. Again, this is issue number 1. Kilowog goes mad. The story here is, and what's really cool is you get the sense that the comic really kind of like, if you're familiar with the series, the comic kind of like fits in between the episodes, I guess. So it's going to progress with the series itself. And if you're familiar, you'll see here. We start off with Hal Jordan and Kilowog again. They're in the ship communicating with Aya, the artificial intelligence. And they've got, this is the first appearance of Razor here. They've got Razor. Razor is a Red Lantern. But, you know, if you're familiar with the series, he's not necessarily a bad guy. He kind of comes over and helps out the Green Lanterns. He's very much at odds with being a Red Lantern. But they've got him in custody, and they're bringing him back to Oa. And that's where these two kind of like shadow beings show up. And they are able to take a hold of Razor, or at least not take a hold of him, make a copy of him. And in doing so, it appears as if Razor has come out of his cell, but it's not actually him, it's the copy. And Kilowog is the first to engage. And in doing so, they are able to make, the second one is able to make a copy of Kilowog, leaving only Hal Jordan on his own. Even though both Razor and Kilowog are still there, they're kind of weak. And that's where we learn that these shadow beings are actually feeding off of Kilowog and Razor, off of their emotions, actually. And eventually they're parasitic, so they're going to kill off the host. And they basically tell him, they're like, yeah, you know, don't mess with us, to Hal Jordan, and we'll let you live a little longer, basically, but eventually we'll eat you too. So they have to figure out what they're going to do, how to fight them. Again, they seem to be made of shadow, so anytime they try to attack them with like their rings, it doesn't have much of effect. It goes right through them. But as you can see here, right? And so they're trying to figure out the best way to do this. Meanwhile, Razor is like, hey, let me out of the cell. I can help out here. And they're a little reluctant to do so. But eventually, you can see here, they're also able to tap into your memories and bring up some emotions and things like that. And so with Hal, of course, they're torturing him with Carol. And as that happens, Hal eventually realizes he's got to let Razor out of his cell to help him out, because Kilowog is again slowly being defeated. Just his life force kind of is being eaten away. So with Razor out, he's going to try to help. That's when Hal realizes that basically when they are in their physical form, they are able to hit them physically, as you can see Kilowog doing here. Whereas whenever they try to hit them with their rings, it doesn't seem to do anything. But that's when they realize when they're in shadow form, the rings have an effect. And so if they can just kind of time when they are in physical versus shadow form, they can change their attacks to be physical or ring bearing in nature. Again, they're summoning their memories of Razor here. So we see some Red Lanterns, although it's not really Red Lanterns. It's just constructs from their memory. Hal, again, trying to protect Razor here. They open up the airlock to force them into shadow form. And in doing so, then they are able to attack them. They're able to attack them with their rings. They switch back to physical form. They hit them physically, and so on, back and forth, until ultimately they all team up when they're in shadow form, and they hit them with light. And light is the one thing that they really can't handle because they're shadow beings. And again, this is for kids. So that's how they ultimately defeat them. And a surprising twist at the end, Razor, who Kilowog was very much against freeing, and Hal Jordan decided to take a chance on. At the end, Razor takes off his red ring, throws it back at them, and walks back into the containment cell, kind of proving that he can be trusted. And as we'll see in the series itself, he definitely redeems himself in the end. So, but yeah, I thought those were two non-canon stories from the multiverse. But
very cool, very cool.
There you go.
Do you have all the issues?
I do. I have the full set.
Okay, full set. Interesting. Are they? If I were to look for them, would they be like in a dollar bin, or
you'll probably get them at cover price?
Okay.
Yeah.
Have to keep an eye out. That's cool. I didn't know they made those.
0 and 1. I mean, that's just two legit fan favorite character first appearances that are just waiting for somebody to pick up on.
Yeah, and you're right. According to Key Collector app, that is the first appearance of Razor.
Mm-hmm. And
Cool.
Aya would be number 0, at least in voice. Again, I don't know when she took physical form, which one, but that I would consider this her first appearance as 0.
Sure. Very cool.
Well, I did a very in-canon story that ties into Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Let me get yours.
It's DC Comics Presents number 87. This came out in 1985. It is an official Crisis tie-in. This is a book I was definitely familiar with, but I had never read before. And I'm going to cover there's 2 stories in here. I'm just going to cover the first one tonight.
It's a cool cover.
I don't know. You obviously didn't know this, but this was, I think, legit the second comic book I ever received as a kid.
Wow.
Really? Oh, wow.
I have it still. It's all wrinkled up. It's been read hundreds of times. I love this comic.
Okay. I had no idea. We didn't discuss choices ahead of tonight, and I picked this book just a couple hours ago. So.
And this is a major first, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Very cool.
Awesome.
So it's got this awesome cover, which I thought was deserving of a thumbnail, which is why we made that. But on the first page, we talk about how it's the history of time. If it ever was written, history has never been told like this. It would show signs in the sky of doom and rumors of doom and doom that is real. It talks about how the Earth's gravity is altered wildly, moment to moment, under a sky that's turned the color of war. So they're referring to the red skies in Crisis. Talking about rivers and streams running in reverse, cold air rising and warm air falling. A spontaneous nuclear combustion in a deep missile silo that was averted, and of course mountains that are raging up from the bottom of the ocean. So it's setting the pace here for this awesome 2-page splash right there of Superman, who's just screaming, no, 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 no. So this takes a place after the death of Supergirl in Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7. And they're like, has it been hours, days, weeks, or years since this pert, bouncy young girl filled with the energy of life and the power of lost Krypton brought family and caring back into this man's empty soul? I thought that was so well written. And you kind of see a comet that's streaking behind Superman there. Well, that is important as we go into the next page, as we realize it's the Superman Revenge Squad inside, and they have seen him in there. They're like, well, what's going on? And they're like, what does it mean? And they're like, well, it means one thing to us, that Supergirl is dead. And our mission's going to be counted as a success before we even begin, because we can take credit for the fact that Supergirl is dead, even though we're not the ones who killed her. And, let's see if we can do something to Superman while we're at it. So they shoot this beam at him, and you kind of see that Superman disappears. And he just kind of realizes there at the beginning of this page that, I thought I saw some type of a ray beam for a moment. What was I thinking? He starts flying to Earth, and he realizes, wait a minute, Metropolis is nowhere to be seen. New York is sprawled out all over where Gotham is supposed to be. Boston suburbs cover Star City. He's like, I must be on Earth Prime. And we have, Earth Prime is the Earth that we supposedly exist in, all of us. So there's one of those, look up in the sky, is that, never mind. So as he uses his X-ray vision to scan around the countryside, he witnesses this scene, and he sees like another Superman, a younger Superman walking with this girl, and he just kind of floats on up. And okay. And the two on the next page interact. and he introduces himself as Superboy. And he's like, and you're Superman, you know? And he scans with his X-ray vision that his cell structure's clearly Kryptonian. And that's even news to Superboy. And they're like, wait a minute, you know, this is like real life. It's not in the comics. You're a fictional character here on this earth. You know, what's going on? And Superman's like, I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Grief brings in a lot of delusions. Am I having a delusion? And he's like, well, what are you grieving over? And he's like, my cousin died recently. And he's like, Kara, Supergirl, is really dead. He says, not a hoax, not a dream, not an imaginary story. So that's a little nod there to the comic fans. He's like, imaginary story? What are you talking about? And he's like, I don't know what I'm talking about, you know? And he's like, Superboy's like, I'm sorry, that must be hard. And he's like, it is, but I really kind of need to get back to my Earth and see what's going on. And Superboy's like, wait, I need you to help me figure out, you know, what to do next. And they see his friends, Superboy's friends down there. And there's about to be a disaster. And Superman's like, you kind of need to go down there and save that. You should kind of get into this practice of saving people. You're a Superboy. You're going to grow into a Superman. So there's this huge tidal wave coming. And he goes down to save his friends. And he gets a little assist from Superman because he's still trying to figure out how his powers are working. And he's a little uneasy. He kind of knows what he wants to do, but he's not sure how to do it. He ends up taking this tidal wave and circling it up into the sky. And then he hears this voice that says, well, don't just hang out there like a lump. You know, it's Superman who's using his super ventriloquism to communicate with him at super speed, which he notes is pretty impressive. So the two attack this with heat vision from both sides. So what essentially they've done is turn this tidal wave into not only a bunch of fog, but probably the world's largest, you know, a rainstorm. So that's how it will dissipate and won't just come down as a tidal wave again on the people on Earth. So right then and there, Superboy wants to learn more about his powers. Superman decides, well, I'm going to train him. And they're like, well, I tell you what, let's race to Halley's Comet. And Superman's like, I don't know if I want to race you unless I get a head start. And he shoots off, and Superboy's like, you know, hey, no fair. And he takes off right after him. So they race out to Halley's Comet, and it's more about learning and teaching about the powers at this point between the two of them. And in communication, Superboy says, you know, why did you come back? And Superman replies, you know, I could not break the dimension barrier to get home. Superboys are like, are you worried? And he's like, a bit. So that's interesting for me, at least, to hear Superman say that. And they start to head back to Earth. In the meantime, we cut over to Superboy's friends who are arriving. You know, they're worried, what has happened to our friend? This tidal wave appeared, and then it just kind of disappeared, but our friend is gone. I'm not sure what's happening. You know, they're not used to a Superboy. So, and this is witnessed by Superman and Superboy with their superpowers as they're heading back into Earth. And then they also notice an alien mothership. And Superboy's like, it's invaders, let's get them. And he's like, hold on a second. And he's like, but, you know, these ships are streaming out of the mothership, you know? And Superman says it's just a tourist bus. And I've seen these on the streets of Metropolis before. They look human, no pulse, blood creature, like the Colorado Rapids. But what they do is they come to stores and buy golf clubs and photocopy machines, and then they go on their way. So Superman's like, well, let's get down and talk to your parents. And then Superboy's like, well, turnabout's fair play. And he takes his head start. And he's like, the kid learns fast. So down where these aliens are, there's all these aliens showing up all over the place. And Superman says, maybe I should go into the golf business. Well, Superman goes to greet them. And they kind of mistake him for a minute, like he might be a traffic cop or something. And they're like, we have permission to be here, you know? And they detect that this is Superman, the survivor of Krypton. And they're like, but there was no survivors from that world, you know, not in this vibratory medium. And he's like, well, the evidence proves wrong. And Superman is trying to, I'm sorry, this is Superboy. He's trying to explain, I'm not trying to wreck your vacation or nothing. And they shoot him with his gun. So Superman sees that Superboy has been captured and kidnapped by these people who are trying to get him out of the way. So he flies down and makes quick work of these characters who pull guns on him. But with the combined might of the two heroes, they're able to essentially stop them. And they find out what they're trying to do is cipher some nuclear weapons. And they're able to transmit them with this projector that they have back to their home world. So the two of them are doing this. To them, they can see everything that's going on. But to the public, it looks invisible, like nothing's going on. As a matter of fact, I think on the next page, we have a truck going by that, has no clue right there in that panel that this battle is actually happening right on the side of the road. So Superman and Superboy are caught, a little bit by these aliens. They're able to bust free, and they were able to stop this nuclear power from being siphoned into these aliens' homeworld. Superman's like, your costume's tattered. He's like, I know mine isn't invulnerable like yours. He's like, well, let's go talk to your parents. So we cut to the parents there, and Superman and Superboy arrive, and they kind of explain, and they just give up the secret origin right there. Like, Ma and Pa Kent, are my parents, and I'm Superboy, and I know you think Superman is a fictional character. He's not. He's real, and here he is. And Superman says, I think I'm going to need your son's help to combat some things that are going on in my world, which is referring to Crisis on Infinite Earths. So the two, Superboy says goodbye to his parents. The two take off. They head back to where this alien ship was, and they decide if they're able to cipher this nuclear power to our homeworld, maybe that same device can transfer them into Superman's world, the regular Earth 1. And instantly, like on First Cry, bing, bang, boom, they're able to do it. They're back on Earth 1. There's the Daily Planet. Superboy's like, wow, this is for real. He's like, must be what it's like going into the movies. And Superman's like, you want to see what it's like to be a reporter? He's like, and Superboy's like the other Clark Kent. And he's like, I've always thought about doing journalism when I growed up, but I decided I'd rather be a test pilot like Hal Jordan. And Superman says, Hal Jordan, give me strength.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden it's Superboy, look out. And he's like, what on God's earth is happening? It's some type of cosmic vortex like the one that swallowed Lex Luthor. But you're stronger, so I can pull you harder. And at the same time, Superman is hit by behind and falls from an alien group. And that's the end of our first story. I'm not going to retro review the second story, but what that is the origin of Superboy Prime. This story that I did retro review concludes in Superman issue 414. And this issue is also a continuation from the previous issue of DC Comics Presents with Superman and Supergirl in an untold story.
Very cool.
Very cool.
You said it was a key. What's the key? Is it the Superboy Prime?
Yeah,
origin?
Superboy
First
Prime.
appearance
First
of
Superboy.
Superboy Prime.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, he comes back later as a villain. He becomes a Yellow Lantern. And yeah, he was a big part of the Jeff Johns run.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to say hello to Bear Island Comics, who's popped in during our retro review.
Hey, Bear.
I want to say hello to Stephen M. He did an AOK,
Steven.
which I unboxed in my latest comic book editions video on my channel earlier this week.
You always get the coolest
Yeah.
AOKs.
I'm very fortunate. And hello to Scott, Hoarder's Hide. It's great to see you as well.
How's it going?
So one thing we didn't do that I'd like to do real quickly is how are you going to rate your books on a 1 to 5 scale, with 5 being the book that I retro reviewed tonight couldn't have been better. I'll say on mine, like I said, I've never read this story before. I had read the previous issue, but I've never read this story. It was fun. It does get a little confusing sometimes with Superman and Superboy since they look so similar, even how they're drawn. But I'm going to go for a 3.5 on mine.
Cool.
I will. I'll give mine. I'll probably go with the 3.5 as well. Again, more oriented for kids, but it was a fun read, and it stayed true to the television show, so I enjoyed it.
I know there was a big petition to bring that back once it was canceled.
Oh yeah, I can't believe they didn't have a season 2. It's truly the Firefly of DC Comics.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, totally agree. I give mine a 2.5 out of 5. Story's not really that great, but the artwork is definitely up there. I really enjoy that. It's a little confusing, especially if you don't understand what Convergence is. A lot of people didn't like it because it was confusing, or some people didn't like it because the Earth they wanted to win didn't win. So
yeah. So essentially, Convergence is, if I'm understanding correctly, untold stories of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Sure, that's a great way to look at it.
And these are happening at the same time that the original Crisis on Infinite Earths was happening. Only they weren't published till decades later.
I think you're right. That I don't know about. I do know the Anti-Monitor was pitting these Earths and these cities against each other. So, and
ultimately it wouldn't matter because it was going to come down to one Earth.
Yeah. If you remember, what was that? I forget what I was going to say. There is a Convergence main story, which is kind of unique, like a 6 or 7 issue series, and then they have all these 2-issue runs, similar to when 52 came out. New 52, they had a million issue zeros before it got to the main story. But I enjoyed Convergence for what it is. Definitely, you can tell they phoned it in some places, but 2.5. I think it's not great. Could be better, but it's definitely not the worst.
Cool.
So let's talk about what's coming up on everyone's channel, and Comic Fu will let you go first. And if you have a book show for us, this would be a great time to do that as well.
Honestly, I don't have too much planned right now. I've been kind of taking a little mini break, just kind of enjoying my summer, but I do have a book show. Tony, this one's for you right here. That's all I got.
Okay, short and sweet. Tony Fett, what's going on your channel?
I got a lot of things working, but unfortunately, I'm taking a brief hiatus. I have to go to Iowa to attend a funeral, so I'll be out of commission for a little bit. But once I get back, I'll jump into the swing of things. But for a book show, we have look at this, Convergence, Nightwing and Oracle, #1, signed by Dan Parsons, which is awesome. I met him at Comic-Con a couple years ago in Baltimore, and he was nice enough to sign this for me. I looked in the registry, and I did not see any of these in the CGC or CBCS registry, so might have to submit this for a grade just so I can be the first. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Awesome. For me, I mentioned, since he's here in the chat, Stephen M. sent me an AOK, which I unboxed on my Comic Book Editions video earlier this week, so check that out. He sent something really cool, so that was very kind of him. And coming up this Tuesday, I'll be doing another AOK unboxing because it's raining AOKs at my house. This one is from Old Wolf 65. So Tony, not you, Tony, the other Tony. Tony Old Wolf 65.
There can be only one, and he'll probably win. Now, Convergence.
Does everybody include confetti when they send you an AOK?
Nope, nobody does, but you.
You guys let me down.
And I have a back issue of the week dropping tomorrow as a YouTube short. I just released a cover by video this past Friday because there were 3 Fridays in July. That means we also do cover by videos on the first Friday of a new month, which is also this upcoming Friday. So it will be a DC title that has been picked out by somebody here in the chat. So you'll have to tune in for that. As Comics for Thomas and Cookie from Just a Little Podcast and I discuss between the A and the B cover, which is the better one. Speaking of Cookie from Just a Little Podcast, it's his birthday today, so I'd like to wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I think it's also Nick's Kicks and Comics birthday today as well, so happy birthday to Nick.
We'll have to send them an Applebee's server to come and do the happy.
Oh yeah. And it is George Jetson's birthday today.
Oh, and unfortunately, sad news. Star Trek news. Nicolette, right? Nikki Nicolette or Nicole Nicolette or whatever. She passed away.
Yeah, I did hear that. So, she was Lieutenant Lahura, if I remember correctly.
She was 89. So
I saw her in person. I didn't speak to her, but I walked by her at a comic convention just a couple years ago in Madison, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Too bad.
89.
Yeah. But it is George Jetson's birthday, same year. I don't mean just same day. Today, George Jetson was born.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
And you know what his boy's name is?
Roy?
Close.
Elroy.
You know what his daughter's name is?
No.
Judy.
I don't remember.
Judy Jetson.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then who's his wife?
I forget.
Jane?
Jane. And then a piano solo. No, 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 no. So,
I want to see a live action Jetsons that no one's asking for.
So my book show is not a book again this week, but it is a new Funko Pop I added to my collection. And I said it has to do with Wonder Woman and a different costume. This was like the David Finch costume.
Oh, that's an awesome
his
one.
Run that they did. You know, like during that time that DC mandated all the characters had to get a new costume, whether they needed it or not. This was not a popular costume with Wonder Woman fans. And a lot of people didn't like that V that's below her belt. They were calling it the V for vagina costume. So, nice. But it is my latest Funko Pop. I'm still working on some of the 80th anniversary Wonder Woman Pops, and I didn't have this one. And when Amazon Prime had their Prime days, this baby was pretty cheap.
Now, do you have her White Lantern and Pink Lantern ones?
No, I need to get those yet too.
That's the run that David Finch was on, also Meredith Finch.
Yes.
The husband-wife duo, yeah.
I don't want to leave without addressing Stephen M's question. Tony, where'd you get those stickers on the laptop?
Oh, funny story. It is not a laptop. It is the comic book file cabinet. Just, on the side.
Gotcha.
Gosh, I got these off of Wish before everyone else decided to get them. So I gave the Chinese government my credit card information to get a couple of stickers. So, nothing bad has ever happened since.
Never.
But yeah, they were like, I got a pack of like 50, and there's some on the front too. Like the whole front is covered. Mm-hmm. I got a whole pack of 50 for like $1.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, the whole front, the side, everything. And when people give me their channel stickers, I throw them up here too. It just kind of makes for a cool backdrop.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that brings us to an end for tonight's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. If you're traveling into Chicago for C2E2 next weekend, have safe travels, have a safe journey, have lots of fun. And we look forward to visiting with you next Sunday for another installment of the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Good night, everyone.